Hi friends, Mickey Mankis here and welcome to Out the Back Door. Today I want to share with you how I put up foods for long-term storage. As you can see, I've got a few things sitting out here that are in bulk. And I've mentioned many times before, I like to buy in bulk because it's more economical doing it that way. With hyperinflation all over the world right now, it is wise to be stocking up, prepping your pantry, that type of thing. Yes, I do prep, but I prep for any type of an emergency. An example was a little over a year ago, my husband got hurt. He was out of work, used up all of his sick leave and everything, and thankfully we had enough in the pantry to get us by on. One thing you want to think about when you're putting up things in your long storage pantry are seasonings, spices, that type of thing. Salt. Salt is necessary for the body. You can use this for flavoring. You can use this for preserving foods, in canning. I use sea salt quite a bit. I have pink Himalayan salt also that you've noticed me using when I'm doing my canning and everything. I buy a variety of different salts except for table salt. I don't buy that. Anyway, so I got a 50-pound bag of sea salt here. This is a fine grain, so this would be kind of like your regular table salt. So I'm going to pre-pack this into 5-pound packages so it's easier for me to handle. I'm not digging into the whole 50 pounds at one time. That way it is going to stay fresher longer. I'm not introducing extra moisture or air or anything into my packages once I get them done. For a working pantry, like I've shown you, I've got, see, because of the moisture in the kitchen, it likes to start clumping up some. But anyway, my Himalayan salt, and I usually put that in my half-gallon mason jar, and I just keep that on the counter, and I dig out of this all of the time. But these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing food saver bags. I'm using my food saver today. That's the main thing that I'm going to be showing you today, how I put it up. But I'm also going to show you, once I get done using my food saver bags, how I store those. Another thing that I buy in bulk are wheat berries. I buy spelt berries, rye berries, different things like that, and I will vacuum seal those also. Right now you realize wheat is very, very expensive and it's becoming harder to get. So wheat berries, you can actually sprout these. This brand I bought through Amazon, it's Palouse. This is grown and harvested in the United States. And these are 25-pound bags that I get. I don't know that they offer 50-pound bags, but I'm going to let you know any product that I am showing you that I'm putting up or any of the tools that I'm using. I will leave it below in the description box in case you want to check any of that out. I am an Amazon affiliate, so anything that you may purchase, I may make a small amount of money off of it to help the channel, but you're not getting charged any extra for that, just so that you know. But anyway, so I will leave all the links for all this. The wheat berries that I like to buy, I usually get the hard red winter wheat. That's what I prefer. This is what I'm going to use for grinding up to make breads. So they, like I said, they do come in 25-pound bags. You can buy them in 5-pound and 1-pound bags also. So that is one thing you may want to start looking at, besides probably buying up flour if you can. I know I've had a few viewers saying they're having a hard time finding flour. I haven't really looked for the flour, being I buy up the berries and grind them up myself. Some of these things like the salt, the wheat berries, a few other things that I've got back here besides the salt and the wheat berries. Another item that I want to mention is coffee. The things that I'm kind of bringing up, keep in the back of your mind, besides putting these up for your family, and I always tell you, buy what you're going to eat, not what everybody else is eating. But I'm going to make a small exception there. These are excellent bartering tools. So preppers, these are bartering tools. So even if you don't drink coffee, you may want to keep a little bit on hand, coffee beans, not the ground ones, because they will last longer. You're giving yourself some bartering tools. Another thing you probably want to have on hand is some type of a sweetener, and I do buy sugar. This is pure cane sugar. I try to stay away from the beet sugar because it's so full of GMOs. Many times you see me digging out of my big jug that's on the counter if I'm canning or baking or something. I also have my half-gallon mason jar full of the natural cane sugar. That is my working pantry. But what I'm going to be doing is I have quite a few of these 8-pound bags. Now it's totally up to you what kind of sugar. You can buy regular beet sugar, I don't care. It's totally up to you. And you can get it in 25 pounds, 50 pounds, that type of thing. But I am going to repackage this. I'm going to package these up in 4-pound packages. And then that way, that's a good amount for me to be using. Also, by vacuum sealing these up, again, you're keeping the moisture out and the air and everything else so that it's going to stay longer. This is one of those forever foods, just like salt. Another forever food that I didn't bring out to show you because I'm just leaving it in its container that I bought it is honey. Honey is an excellent forever food. You can use for sweetener. Also, you can kind of use it as an antibiotic in a way. Say if you get a cut or a scrape or something, you put the honey on it and it's got antimicrobial properties in it that will help with that. So that's another thing that I'm going to be packaging up is my sugar. Like I said, I've got it in my jug here too. Okay, another reason that I want to package this up in the Food Saver bags is because of the plastic it's in. It's a thin plastic. I can squish the air out of it right now, so it's not airtight sealed. I'm going to be doing the same thing with the coffee beans that are just in plastic bags. I'm going to leave them in these plastic bags, but I am going to vacuum seal these in so that they're more airtight. Some of the coffee beans that I have purchased in the past, I write the date on them too. And yes, I bought these in November of 2020, but they're still good. You know, if you didn't see my video on the best buy dates, are they good or not? Please check that out, because you know what? A lot of people are afraid of the dates that are put on there. Those are manufacturers' dates that they put on there voluntary. It's not mandatory to put them on there. They just say, this is when we feel, well, our product's going to be at its peak, and then goes from there. So anyway, don't think just because this has an older date on it that it's not good. It is. But these are Mylar. This is more of a Mylar package, so I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to go and waste another vacuum seal bag around it because it is sealed well. The plastic ones are not. So all of this stuff in plastic, I'm repackaging. Here's another item that I've bought in bulk, and it's in plastic. I know it's got that zip type sealer inside, but still. I want to put this in smaller size bags for storage. It's banana chips, and we love this as a snack. I realize this isn't like eating a fresh banana or whatever, but we do like banana chips. We like snacking on them. I'll even crunch them down into smaller bits and everything and use them in my granola. These are perfect for us taking camping. So the bulk ones like this, I'm going to put in smaller bags and seal them up that way, and then I'll put them into a bigger container. Once I get these packaged up into smaller bags, I'm going to store them in my bucket here. Here's an example. A while back, I ended up getting a large bag of dried apples. They're dehydrated apples, and they're really good. They're still soft and pliable. They're really good in there. Anyway, I put them in smaller bags so that they're easier to grab and use. And like I said, we use these for snacks. I chop these up and put them into my granola, and these are also good for camping. If necessary, I can rehydrate these and use them in baking. So what I'm going to do though, I just get the cheap 5-gallon buckets. I'm not buying the food grade buckets. I'm not buying those fancy tops that twist on and seal and have the rubber gasket or whatever in them. I'm sorry. Call me cheap. I don't care. Because I've stored my food many years like this, and it's been fine without spending a bloody fortune on those special buckets. But I'm putting them in Food Saver bags. It isn't like I'm taking my bag and stuffing it in there to store it. I wouldn't do that because it's not sealed well enough. So as long as I am putting them in food saver bags, there you go. I just keep dropping my food in there. So I'll have bananas in one. I'll put the apples in one. I've got dried pineapple. I do the same thing. And then, like I said, I'm not even buying one of those heavy duty covers that go on here. This will snap down. I've actually got an opener to help pry it up because I've broken a bazillion of nails trying to pull them up. That's how I'll store a lot of those products. Just this kind of small loose stuff that I don't have huge amounts of. Okay, another thing that I like to buy in bulk is my coconut. This is organic coconut, or the coconut flakes, and I like to use this in baking. So when I bought this, it came in a package of 2. That's how it was bulk. Now, this again, it's regular plastic, so I am going to repackage it into food saver bags so that they're all sealed up and everything. Now, I'm not saying this is the way you have to do it. I realize there's a lot of people out there showing you how they seal up their food for a long shelf life, long-term storage, that type of thing. Everybody's got their own way. I'm just sharing how I do it, and I've been doing it enough years and feel this has worked really well for me, and that's why I do it this way. Shredded coconut. Okay. I like coconut. Anyway, this is unsweetened and it is shredded. I was going to get a smaller package, and I realized I had gotten an excellent deal buying it. What is this, 25 pounds? Hello. Oh, it's a 22-pound bag. But it came out much better than me buying like a 10-pound bag or whatever. So I did get the shredded that way. There is a package liner inside the paper on the outside here, but still, I don't want to leave it in this. I'm going to make sure that I get these bagged up also. One thing I want to share, food saver. I buy the 6 packs of the bags that are in a row. I don't spend the money for pre-made bags. To me, that's useless for as much as I go through them. And so I will be making my own bags to package all of this up. And I will show you a little bit of the process of how I'm going through it. I'm not going to make you stay all afternoon with me while I'm doing all of this. I know some people say they don't like using food saver bags for the fact that they just cost so much money. Well, actually, you know what? I've reused them. So it's like, you know, I make a bag and I seal my food in there and everything. And when it's sealed, when I open it up, I'll cut right underneath the seal. So I'm not wasting a whole lot of the bag. And then you can wash these up, you know, warm soapy water and rinse them off really well and dry them. And you can actually use them again. I know that might sound like a little bit of a pain in the... But you know what? Okay, this is called being frugal and getting your money's worth, because these are not cheap. I didn't buy any this year yet. Okay, so these, you get 6 rolls in here. They're 8 inches wide, and you're getting 20 feet long on each roll. On average, locally here, I have been paying $50 a box for them. It just happens to be that red bucket that I showed you came from one of our local hardware stores. It's called L&M, and they offer a bucket sale. So recently they had a bucket sale. You buy a bucket for $1.99 or whatever, and whatever you can fit into the bucket, you get 20% off of. So that's why a lot of times I make sure that I get there, and I missed the sale this time, but I'll throw one of these in here because then I'm saving 20% off on there. Like I said, I don't know if they were still $50 or if they've jacked up their price, but I will also leave a link for these in case you're interested. I also have a 5-pound bag of spelt berries. When I was talking about like the wheat berries, rye berries, spelt berries, any of these berries, the majority of them, these are organic and they can be sprouted. This is good as a cereal, besides grinding up for flour. So I just wanted to share that point with you too. It isn't where it's just like, well, I gotta buy berries for grinding up for flour. There are other ways to use them. Being I've only got a small 5-pound bag here, I am going to be putting these in a 1/2-gallon jar, mason jar, and sealing that up. I believe I've showed you before how I use this. All right, this is what our spelt berries looks like. And I am going to be using the Food Saver top here in order to seal my jar. Some settling may occur. I wanted to remind you, make sure that you are leaving a head space in your jars when you're vacuum sealing, just like if you were canning regular food. I usually come up to about where the beginning of the neck of the jar starts. I'm reusing an old lid. I do that a lot when I'm vacuum sealing my jars. So this is for the wide mouth. I do have one for the regular mouth also. I bought it as a set. I'll leave a link for that also down below if you're interested. And I won't talk while I'm doing this because it gets a little noisy, and I will lower the volume for you. Okay, my jar's good and sealed. I'll do the other one also. Okay, and that's all there is to that. If you didn't see the video that I did on this, I will leave a link to that so you can check it out. It's not necessary to put the bands on there, but when I do vacuum seal, it's one way of storing my bands instead of putting them in the rafters. And I do kind of crank down on them tight just to help that. Periodically when I'm going through the pantry, I may kind of scan the tops of my jars to make sure that they are still sealed, and if they're not, then I grab one off and reseal it, no big deal. So that's the way I'm doing that. You can also do a lot of your smaller items in the jars if you want, if you're not buying in a really large bulk amount. So that is what I was doing with those. So I've got that done and out of the way. I'll finish marking this one up. Okay, I just realized that the 8-inch bags, I'm not going to be able to get these existing bags into here, and I don't have any. I believe they're 11-inch wide. I don't have any of the bigger ones on hand right now. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cut the bags open, and I am going to dump these into the bags that I make. I wasn't quite sure how big of a bag I was going to need for the 5 pounds of coffee. So now I can seal this up, and like I said, I'm going to be able to see through here exactly what I've got in here. Alright, that bag doesn't need to be that long. I'm going to trim a little bit off. I didn't take much off, but I want to make sure that it seals well. One thing I like about this Food Saver, I don't know about all of them, there's an option where I can push dual seal. It'll double seal at the same time. All right. So there. It's airtight. So these are going to last a lot longer than if I had left them just in the regular plastic. The ones that are in Mylar, I'm just going to leave in those bags. I'm not going to try to reseal those or anything. It's not necessary. All right, I just want to show you kind of quick what I will be doing with these then. Okay, so here's a 5 pound bag of the coffee beans, and this isn't a Mylar bag. I'm going to leave it alone. There's a little more air in it. Yeah, I can't push the air out, so it's sealed really tight, but it's not as vacuum sealed like I've done here. This bag is a 5 pound bag also. The only problem with this, watch, it looks like it's Mylar. I can push the air out. So it's kind of like the plastic bags. I'm going to have to repackage this also. But I want to show you what I usually store because I have enough coffee on hand. These black totes. I love them. These are made by Plano. And we started using these, quite a few years ago when we were going camping. We used to have the great big Rubbermaid containers and everything, and we just found that these actually do a better job for us. Smaller loads, they're not as heavy to carry, so I can help when we're going up, like when we go camping and we've got to go up a rocky terrain or whatever to get to the top of the mound or the rock ridge or whatever where we're going to be camping, because we take the canoes up there, sometimes boats. So these Plano containers are a nice size for me to handle. And most of the food that I put in here, when I'm vacuum sealing them and everything, well, look at that snow coming down. It's April 20th and we have snow coming down. We're supposed to get anywhere from 2 to 5 inches. Spring, where are you? Okay, back to the totes. That's just it. We're supposed to be going on a fishing trip fishing camping trip, Memorial Weekend. And at the rate we're going, even our opener fishing, the ice isn't going to be off the lake. We can't go fishing. So anyway, but we take these camping. The food that I'm storing in here for the most part, now like the salt, all 50 pounds should be able to fit in here. But that's kind of my limit too, is 50 pounds of lifting. I don't like to try to tote around anything more than the 50 pounds, but it will hold that weight nicely. So what I'll end up doing is, once I get these all repacked and everything, I'll start piling I'll put my food in here. I mean, I realize this is only 2 pounds, so I wouldn't come up to the 50-pound mark, but what I'm saying is that these totes will hold 50 pounds easily and hold up. It's not super, super thick, but they're still quite a bit denser than, say, like your clear Rubbermaid containers that you can get. The thing I like about it is the lids lock down on them. They're easy to carry. You've got the handle underneath. I know a lot of people are concerned about them being watertight, airtight, that type of thing. And what you can do inside of here, there is a channel along here if you want to buy like weather stripping and put it in. I know some people have done that just to make it more airtight. You don't want too big of a weather stripping, otherwise you're not going to be able to get this sealed and locked down well. For the years that I've been using these and storing food in them, I haven't been concerned about it. And as long as we're taking these camping, I don't want my clothes or food or anything getting wet. Now, we've been in some torrential downpours when we've been out camping, and our food, our clothes, everything, it's been dry. So I'm not concerned about that being an issue when it's in my basement. This is another nice container to store your food in. I realize you can't see what's in it, but the things that I always say that will help extend your shelf life of your food. Keep it in a dark, dry, cool place. So you're keeping your food dry in here. It is dark in here. Like I said, we keep ours in the basement, so it is cooler down there. So this is a very good environment to store your food in for long shelf life. Now, what I've done is I've just taken like a white chalk marker and I write on the side what's in it. And then, or you could put labels, but it's just the white chalk marker. If I decide to switch things out, it's easy to just, wipe it off and rewrite on there what's in there. So what I could put on here is whole coffee beans. And what I'll do is I make sure that I'm rotating. So the oldest ones are on the top, and I'll be using it that way. And once I start working my way down or whatever, then I see, well, I need to order some more coffee beans because I do drink a lot of coffee. Mr. Mankus is drinking coffee. And it's just one thing you want to remember with the coffee beans, though, you better have a coffee grinder. Don't depend on electricity all the time. Make sure that you have a coffee grinder or some type of a grinder that will do coffee manually. Voila, here we go. So, I do have one where I pour my coffee beans in here. I think I showed you how to make the best cup of coffee, and I was using this. And my coffee grounds are going to come out of the bottom so I can make myself a cup of coffee. I also have just a really small, like portable one, say if I was traveling or something and I want to make sure that I'm making my own coffee or bring it camping. I can do that. But anyway, the way the world's going right now, and if you are prepping and storing for a long shelf life, that type of thing, just think of tools that you may need down the line. Say, what if we don't have power? You don't know what could happen. Like I said, I prep for any emergency. So anyway, can opener is another thing. Manual can opener. Don't tell me you got arthritis and you can't do that. If you had to, you would. I am going to weigh out like 5-pound increments of my winter wheat, my wheat berries. And here's our winter wheat, the red. You know, even though this is a 25-pound bag, boy, major settling has occurred because I'm not even at 3 pounds yet. And, well, I guess I'm going to have to make some big bags. I'm going to also be storing this in those black Plano totes. Alright, I'm almost at 5 pounds. So I'll have a general idea that my bowl will be pretty close to full. Well, it's not like I'm making soap and I have to be extremely precise. Ta-da! 5 pounds, okay. Okay, so I was guesstimating, there are like increment markers on these bags. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I kind of pulled it out to 8. The one end is sealed already, and then trimmed it off. And let's see if this is going to work. And then I'll be able to tell whether this is going to be the right length or not. Now, here's a good example of once I open this bag and when I grind it up, I'm going to have a lot of bag left over to use. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe I won't need this long of a bag. See, when I'm doing like ground venison and I do 1-pound packages, that I pretty much know by heart what size bag I want. But being I don't do this very often, I kind of forget. But I'm going to be storing these in the black Plano totes also. So when I was talking about hyperinflation and whatnot, one of the reasons the wheat is going up is because being that we're in the United States, we do grow wheat. Like I said, this came from the US. But I did not realize that there's one big, huge, major country that is an exporter of wheat. And we're not playing very nicely with them right now. They export a lot of different things. Another reason a lot of different foods are going to go up is actually fertilizer. If you're not aware of why food prices are going up so bad, hyperinflation and everything, one of the reasons is because of fertilizer. You need fertilizer and different chemicals in the fields, in the crops, and everything. I'm talking big production, not just a little farmer. They use all these different things and pesticides and whatnot in order to grow the crops. And if they have to pay a bloody fortune for it, they have to raise their prices up. Okay, so this isn't just food for the consumer. This is also including food that they are growing for livestock to eat. And then they're passing that on to the people that are raising livestock, so their prices are even higher. So when we're trying to buy milk or any dairy supply or anything, they're going to be charging more because they had to pay so much for their feed. Also for the meat, to feed their cattle or their pigs, chickens, sheep, whatever. That cost of feed is that much more because it costs to grow it because of the fertilizer that costs so much. So anyway, it's just a snowball effect. So that's another reason why food prices are going up, because of the chemicals, the fertilizers, all these different things that are needed in order to grow crops. Sorry I dragged that out. Okay, so I didn't need as big of a bag, but how many? Let me see. I said I did 8. Let me count the lines again. So last Thursday, I went to Aldi and I did an Aldi haul, and I was showing you what I bought. And I had gotten butter there. I only picked up 4 pounds because I had just canned butter. But I thought, well, I need to start you know, getting a surplus going again. But I thought 4 pounds would be enough, and it was $2.59 a pound, and I thought, ugh, what happened to $1.99 a pound? That you just don't find it for $1.99 a pound anymore. But anyway, so I got it for $2.59 a pound. I went back on Saturday because I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to get a few more things again, and I am going to buy more butter. It was up to $3.49 a pound. It went up almost $1 a pound. Oh, well, I guess I don't need butter that bad because, like I said, I canned butter. I've got canned ghee. I did a video on a vacuum chamber. So, like, you know, for the 1/2 gallon jugs that I was doing, and I just used the Food Saver top on there. You could be doing the same thing with all this. So if you're buying in bulk like this, you don't want to use the bags, you want to store it in the jars. If you followed that video and made one, hey, there, that's going to go that much faster instead of, you know, 1 jar at a time. Okay, so there I've got 5 pounds of my wheat berries all sealed up, vacuum sealed, so they are going to last a lot longer because I have removed all that excess air and oxygen. And like I said, I'm going to store them in the black totes, and it's cool down in the basement, so it's dark, it's cool, it's dry. All right, I'm going to keep working on these. Well, I don't know what happened yesterday. It was like all my batteries went dead on my camera, and I wasn't able to finish recording, but while they were charging, I was working. I pre-made bags for the rest of the wheat berries. This is more or less what I usually do, an assembly line. So I figure out what size bag I need to begin with, and then I'll kind of estimate. I'll make that many bags up ahead of time, and then I start filling the quantity that I do want in the bag. So the wheat berries, I had wanted 5 pounds a bag. Here's some of them. You can see in the background I've got a whole lot to vacuum pack yet, but what you want to make sure is they're rock hard. They pulled all the air out, and it's so tight. It's like, this would hurt to get hit with it right now. But I also did up all the salt and everything last night. I'm busy canning right now while I'm doing this. This is called multitasking. And after I did that Aldi haul, and I had some other things that I had purchased, it's like, I need to like really kick it in gear right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up. I'm going to get going and do my wheat here. I made the bag longer deliberately because I'm going to flatten these out some, and I'll show you how I do that. Hopefully you can see. Okay, and like I said, I've got this on a double seal. So now I'm just kind of smoothing my bag out a little bit, hold it, and now I will vacuum it. This way, when I put them in those black Plano totes, I'm going to be able to put them in there better. I'm not wasting as much space because they're going to be flatter, and I'll be able to stack them up or on edge or whatever. So, yeah, sucked out a big, that's where my hand was. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to continue doing with all of these. I got all the banana chips done, and I've got those stored into that red L&M bucket. I've got to do my sugar yet, so I did start making bags. I've got to make more bags for the sugar. I'll do that after I finish vacuum sealing all of the wheat berries and everything. But here's my bags of my banana chips. But then, like I said, I'm just going to put a plain cover on here. I think this one has, oh yeah. Once you put it on and then take it off, you can actually bust this, so you've got an easier way to get in there. But I've got the coconut to do yet also. I've got some of the coffee left. And then I should be pretty good. And then I can get this stored down into the pantry. And like I said, dark, cool, dry. That is going to extend your food, your shelf life the longest if you're able to do that, including canned foods and everything. I don't care if it's a canned food from the grocery store that you bought or something that you're doing yourself. That will help extend your shelf life on that. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you, as long as I had so much that I had to take care of right now, how I do vacuum seal and store my foods for a long shelf life, and what type of things that I was purchasing to put up, because remember, buy what you're going to use, not what everybody else is doing or what I'm doing or whatever. So that's about it, and I want to thank you for joining me today and yesterday. And if you did enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up and share, and if you have any comments, questions, leave them below. Like I said, I will leave a link below to all the different products and everything in the description box of what I have used, different foods and everything too, in case you're interested. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.